Hello there. Thank you for taking a moment to watch this video. And on this specific training, we're going to continue talking about the PhoneBurner integration with Salesforce. And of course, this is just one video in a whole series of videos. So make sure you've watched all of the other videos because they do build on each other. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about 3 fields that you get on the leads object as well as the contacts object when you install the PhoneBurner app in Salesforce. Now, before we talk about these 3 fields, I want to talk about list views. And I have talked about list views on some of the other videos, but it's so important for you to understand how to create list views so that you can successfully manage your data in Salesforce and focus your time and energy on the leads or contacts or whatever records you're calling that matter the most to you at that time. And so I'm going to jump over to the leads object itself because it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to display these to you. So from the leads object, I've got this list view, the PhoneBurner training list view, and you'll see these 3 fields here. Let me go ahead and resize some of this stuff here just so that we're able to display everything just a little bit better. So these 3 fields that come as part of the package when you install the PhoneBurner app. You've got number of attempted calls, last attempt, and last disposition. So last disposition is the button you clicked on last time you called them using PhoneBurner. So if you call a contact with 2 phone numbers, and the first call you make is a no answer, and the second call you make is a voicemail, the last disposition is going to be voicemail because it's only going to show you the outcome of the last call. Now, last attempt is going to show you the date and time that you last tried to reach that person using PhoneBurner. And then finally, number of attempted calls. Every time you call somebody using PhoneBurner through the app installed in Salesforce, PhoneBurner is going to log that call activity back to Salesforce. There is a flow that's part of that package that will automatically increase this field by 1 every time a new activity is logged to that contact record that has a subject line containing the word PhoneBurner. And why should you care about these 3 fields? Well, again, it comes back to the list views. The whole idea is PhoneBurner is going to help you power through your calls at a rate of 60, 70, 80 dials per hour, depending on how long your conversations are with your contacts and how many people you connect with. And because you're going to be moving through your calls at such a fast pace, you want to make sure that when you come in here to start dialing, you're only calling the people that you care about most. And so you can use these 3 fields along with any other fields to help you identify who you want to call and when you want to call them. For example, you may not care how many times you call somebody, but you may care when the last time you called somebody was. Like if you called somebody in the morning, you may not want to call them again in the afternoon. Or if you called somebody today, you may not want to call them for another 2 or 3 days. And because we're logging the date and time of the last attempt date, you can filter your list to only show you contacts that their last attempt was before a specific date or before today. So what would that look like? Let's go down here to last attempt date. Let's go down here to last attempt. And we could do something like less than today. Hit save. And as you can see, that filtered out everybody who didn't have a last attempt date. But what if we want to find everybody that hasn't been called either? Well, great. We can go ahead and add another filter. Last attempt equals blank. Save. Wait a second, what happened to everybody? Shouldn't I have all of my contacts in here? That's where filter logic comes into play. Let's go ahead and click on Add Filter Logic, and you'll see that it's 1 and 2 and 3. And it would be impossible for 2 and 3 to both exist. It can't be blank and be less than today. So what we would do, we would make it 1 and 2 or 3. And then we'd go ahead and save that. And now we would see a list of everybody who either doesn't have a last attempt date value or that last attempt date was before today. But that doesn't help us if we've got people who we've previously called and maybe we set an appointment with. right? Because if I call you today and I book an appointment, I may not want to call you tomorrow because you and I, we already have an appointment. So that's why we want to take into account the last disposition. What was the outcome of the last call? So I might want to add another filter here that says, you know what was the last disposition? So we go last disposition equals, and I'll do no answer for example. And then don't forget, we've got to add filter logic. So we save that, and you'll see it just filtered down my list to this one contact. Now, obviously, you don't want to filter your list down until you have just one contact. You want to create a standardized set of filters that's going to help you identify a good chunk of people that you can begin a dial session with. But by taking advantage of these three fields that PhoneBurner is automatically populating on the leads and contacts objects, you're going to be able to identify and create lists of contacts and leads in your Salesforce account that you want to focus on. Now, of course, these are the three fields that we give you. There are a lot of other fields that you probably already have in your Salesforce account that you may want to consider, like lead status or contact status and things like that. So make sure that you sit down and think through, what is the process? What is the sequence that I want to take my contacts or leads through to ensure that I give myself the best shot at connecting with them and closing that deal? So anyway, that's it for this specific video. I hope this helps you and your team get more done using the power of PhoneBurner. Thanks again, and happy dialing.